So, what I'm going to talk about today is quite dangerous, and I don't recommend you do it at home. But if you do go to Georgia, you might be tasked with going to the most dangerous place in the world in terms of driving. This pass is like basically it's a sheer cliff, and you're in this like really rocky road. It's one way. It can be muddy, and it's quite hard to like pass. And I was in the passenger seats looking down over, and of course, like it's just straight down, like 90 degrees drop off there. And so, you might ask how you get in that situation. Well, as a guy from North Carolina, it's, life can be a little bit dull, and so you book a simple trip to the Republic of Georgia in the Caucasus, and you're like, screw it, let's do it. And you end up on this like you're just praying for your driver first of all, because ain't no way you're driving your own car up that thing, and it just whines, and at basically every other turn or bend in the road, there's like a gravestone with someone has died there because they've fallen down, or like maybe they took and a rock slipped, and so it is a little bit unnerving. It's one of the most beautiful places I've been, and once you finally, well, I mean, there was actually, so like in the summer actually it's really only passable. In the winter it's too closed off and you can't go. But as you're going up, you just have this incredible view of you, kind of like a mountain goat coming up this mountainside, and you're able to see like for miles. And when you finally get to the top, it's just like in the clouds. You're just like in this little zone, and it's very nice. There's like a little church up there and a little shop you can stop and walk around. And then coming down into this valley, once you're through the pass and into the actual Tusheti, it's very, very nice. And after bouncing up and down for like 6 hours in like a very cramped vehicle with like 8 other people, you gotta find the nice things in life and enjoy some of what life has to offer, like the beautiful views of Tusheti. And once you're there, you can walk around. There's great food on. I mean, it's quite hard to like transport food, but even Tushetians are able to make do with what they have. Georgian food in general is very good. As you can see, there's cucumber salad. There's this great, very salty cheese, but I'm a big fan, and the bread there is incredible. They also make like Tushetian beer. It's very low percent, almost like kvass if you've had it. It's like this bread, soft drink almost, but it's quite tasty. And so we spent the time just hiking around. I went all the way up on this one side, this hillside, kind of dangerous, honestly. And you would just see the little village at the bottom getting smaller and farther away. And as I'm going up, the wind just increases by an incredible amount. And I'm getting a little nervous, but it's okay. You gotta live life on some sort of edge. Maybe not that edge, but you know what I'm saying. But at the very top, beautiful scenic views. I've never seen mountains like that. North Carolina, there's the Appalachian Mountains. They're kind of just like glorified hills almost. You're not gonna see what it is like out in the west, or the Caucasus, like snow peaked, or these rocky where dirt doesn't retain. You don't see that in North Carolina. And so views are incredible. And I befriended my friend from Montreal on the way there. He was impressed with my French. I was originally quite scared to talk to him because, as an American and someone who's not confident in their French, I think there's a mentality when you're learning a language to just be like, oh, you might offend someone, or like, I met someone in New York City and they were like, I'm learning Arabic, and then they wouldn't practice it with like the halal cart guide because it was like cringe. Like, what are we doing? What are you learning the language for? Like, the halal cart guy, he about to give you a discount with that. Like, if you pull something out for sure, I feel like. And so, in my experience, it's just been, you gotta practice as much as you can and meet as many people, and you can't just wait for the opportunity to come at you. So I think, and it's turned out to be one of the greatest friendships I've had in my life. He's come to New York City, I've gone to Montreal and stayed with him, and we just have a great time teasing each other in English and French. And he's actually Georgian, and I don't know how much I should say, but he speaks Russian as well. But I just think these kind of connections are very important. And the overall trip in Georgia was incredible there. They have pristine water up there, and the air is phenomenal. This one freaking Albanian guy, I have nothing against Albania. I've never been there. I think it's probably an incredible country, great people. But like, why are we in the most pristine air and like most secluded like place in the world you can possibly like be? Like, it's a legendary place. And he lights up a cigarette every time we exit the van, and I'm just trying to enjoy the nice clean air and like pick some dandelions. I don't know, but that's my only gripe with that, I would say. But everyone else on the trip was very nice. There was an American guy who was teaching English in like Batumi. There were some Russians, and it was a good trip. And I did that once more. I went to this lake in the south of Georgia called Lake Paravani. And on the way there's great like dandelion fields and cows and sheep getting in your way, just walking in the middle of the road. Like classic problems that you have in North Carolina. And one of my favorite times there was just literally biking around this lake. It was like a bike trip, so they put the bikes on the car, and we drove over and eventually got out, hopped on, and the wind in your face, I don't know, biking around this lake. There was like a little monastery there you could stop. It was just phenomenal. There were some people from Amsterdam, and I was trying to like race them because I'm not about to lose to some freaking Dutch biker. I city bike around New York, like a lot. I think City Bike is incredible. It's like a bike share program that you can just pick up and dock. But I was actually getting smoked by that. They left me in the complete dust. That was before I moved to New York City and Arlington and got better at biking. But anyways, I digress. We were gonna swim in that lake a little bit, or like a further lake, but it had so many flies that we didn't. And eventually we went back to there's actually like Armenians and Georgians, right? So on this border you can kind of have ethnic groups that are living in each other's countries. So we went to this Armenian Supra place. It's like a big feast, long table, and everyone in the tour like sat down and broke bread, I guess, and had a ton of food. I ate so much fish. It was just, I was literally left like a fish out of, I don't know. I was so fat. My friends in New York sometimes call me a fat ass, but that's like, besides the point. That's actually